time to talk business now. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has predicted that Nigeria's consumer price index, which measures inflation in the country, would commence a deceleration before the end of the year. The IMF is also advising the Central Bank of Nigeria and other monetary policy authorities to continue adopting traditional tools in fighting galloping inflation, which has remained a concern to policymakers across the globe. The Washington-based institution called for stronger fiscal and monetary policy collaboration to cage inflation across the country. Inflation in the country at the moment is presently at 20.52%, while the Apex Bank had last month raised the monetary policy rate MPR, otherwise known as interest rates, by 150 basis points to 15.5% from 14%. While the National Bureau of Statistics has revealed that the total credit allocated to private sector in Q1 2021 stood at 62.28 trillion naira. The report also says in Q2 2021, total credit allocation increased by 5.64%, which is about 65.79 trillion naira, with the top three allocations to the oil and gas industry, manufacturing sector and general service sector recorded at 18.75%, 16.46% and 9.48%. Well, the NBS also notes that the Q3 2021 credit allocations to the private sector further increased by 2.33% from the amount recorded in Q2 2021, showing a total of 67.33 trillion naira. According to the documents, the oil and gas industry recorded the highest allocation with 12.48 trillion naira. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investments, Mr. Adeniyi Adebayo, has described the ongoing review of Nigeria's trade policy by the ministry as one of the legacies of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Speaking while receiving a draft copy of the revised trade policy in the nation's capital, Abuja, the minister notes that since the extant trade policy was broadcast in 2002, both Nigeria and the world have witnessed major development, such as the explosion of e-commerce and digital payments, the agreement establishing the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, among other achievements. Mr. Adebayo also asked that the African Growth and Opportunity Act was just in its second year, saying the development necessitated a review of the policy. While expressing satisfaction with the document, the minister, however, urges the committee to specify measures to be taken to avoid and curtail trade injuries. Let's shift our focus now to bilateral relations, as Taiwan is seeking to deepen its existing trade and investment ties with Nigeria. Authorities from Taiwan expect this could be economically beneficial to both countries through improved earnings for economic growth and development. And TVC News correspondent Lara Falayo tells us more.
Trade relations between Nigeria and Taiwan dates back in time. Since the setting up of the Taipei Trade Mission in Nigeria, volume of transactions between the two countries has continued to see significant increase. The Taipei Trade Office represents Taiwan's business interest in Nigeria, with an agenda centered on trade promotion, investment, and other economic relations. Taiwan now says it is more committed to enhancing existing cooperation with Nigeria, with the aim of deepening mutually beneficial trade relations while scaling up import and export of commodities. It, however, seeks a more conducive operational environment.
Very happy and amazing kind of progress between Nigeria and Taiwan for increasing our trade value. And we definitely would like to continuously promote that.
Taiwan-Nigeria trade has reached $1 billion US. So the growth, the marginal growth is 200%. So even during the COVID, it's still a very good, performance for us.
The volume of trade transactions between Nigeria and Taiwan has continued to grow. Taiwan says these activities were barely affected even during the COVID-19 pandemic. The country has increased in multi-million-dollar investment interest in Nigeria in sectors including infrastructure, agriculture and manufacturing.
We have done a lot of investment, ranging from rubber plantation to selling of tires and different kinds of equipment.
We encourage Taiwanese company come forward to Nigeria to manufacture, not for trading, because trading is old-fashioned. So everyone has to come to Africa, especially Nigeria. If you come earlier, you have better benefits.
Nigeria's main export commodities to Taiwan are sesame, natural gas, crude oil and solid minerals, while it imports machinery, chemicals and refined oil from the country. Data shows that total trade volume between Taiwan and Nigeria stood at over $530 million between January and September 2021, showing a 118% increase from 2020's figure, which was above $300 million. Lara Folayo, TVC News, Abuja.
And away from diplomatic ties, let's turn our attention now to global markets as Asian stocks are wallowed at a two-year low. Today, weighed by signs China had no immediate plans to ease strict COVID curbs, while an unrelenting dollar rally and wobbles of the UK bond market and bond and pound shook global investor sentiment. MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan was down at 0.50%, weighed heavily by China's CSI 300 index, which fell at 1.40%, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng index lost 2%. South Korea's Kospi index was up at 0.52% after the Bank of Korea raised rates by 50 basis points for a second time since July as expected. And overnight, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite fell at 0.65% and 1.10% respectively, though the Dow Jones Industrial Average managed to close up to 0.12%, while the European Stocks 50 Futures Index was down at 0.27%. While the UK's economy looks set to go into recession, as latest gross domestic product report shows the country's economy unexpectedly shrank in August, underscoring the challenge for Prime Minister Liz Truss to make good on her promises to speed up growth. However, weakness in manufacturing and maintenance work in North Sea oil and gas fields contributed to a 0.3% fall in gross domestic product GDP from July, with the report showing how a jump in inflation was hitting consumers. July's increase in output was revised down to 0.1% from a previous estimate of 0.2%, and another 3 months to August, GDP fell at 0.3%, its first decline since early 2021 when the country was mired in the coronavirus pandemic. According to an economic analyst, the ongoing squeeze on household finances continues to weigh on growth and likely to have caused the UK economy to enter a technical recession from the third quarter of this year. And finally, on business news, oil prices of the international markets recouped some losses today, recovering from a 2% slide on the previous session, supported by supply concerns stemming from last week's OPEC Plus cuts to its production target. Though a stronger dollar weighed on sentiment, U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude experienced an upward price review of 0.10% to sell at $89.44 per barrel. Brink crude futures also recorded an uptick of 0.33%, selling for $94.60 per barrel. Bonilite maintains the red zone, selling for $95.58 per barrel, with a price decline of 2.83%. While for the OPEC basket, crude oil dealers offer $97.43 per barrel, with an uptick of 0.00%.